Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. In the previous episode, we went bargain bin hunting for some old tech so we could play the DVDs we got from Herr Winters. Or rather, what was left of them. And then, while we were doing that, we went around and talked to everybody around the Kreuzbazaar. Gained some interesting stuff. Also, I looked up what the Turkish coffee was for. Basically, if you don't have the skills to lower the price as low as you did, you can always trade the Turkish coffee to them, which, in all honesty, even with the skills, you're probably better off doing, because it saves you, what? 75, 50, 125 nuyen? Because we paid 175, but the coffee itself was only 50. Let's see, no? Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll have that drone back soon enough. By the way, fun fact, in the original, that used to be a DLC for the first of the Shadowrun returns, because this didn't used to be standalone. Blitz actually used to stay in the cafe the whole time. He was never actually in the hideout. Unless the story demanded he be there. It seems that Amsel has assembled the team in your absence. They stand in a group around the old display that you had Malit deliver. In their faces you can see excitement and apprehension, curiosity and dread. Talia, have you procured a DVD reader? I have. It's right here. Good. This should only take me a moment. Amsel disappears behind the ancient display. After a few minutes of fiddling with its battered inputs, he reappears, a satisfied look on his face. Everything appears to be functional. The discs should be ready to play. Well, don't keep us in suspense. Start the damned thing already. Talia went to the trouble of fetching everything. Let her do the honors. Amsel steps back, clearing a path for you to access the antique machine. See, a soft whirring sound fills the air as the ancient DVD player spins the disc up to speed. The scratched LCD display comes to life, and the menu fills the screen. The screen goes black, and a cheerful digital chiming sound spills out of the display speakers. A crackle of static fills the air, coupled with a shrill electronic whine. After a few moments, the display goes live, and a disheveled-looking man appears on the screen. His eyes glitter with excitement. The timestamp on the screen is 2034, 9:15. September 15th. Hermie, I think we found her. After all this time. Feuerschwing. I knew that she wasn't dead. His speech is jittery. You can hear the urgency in his voice. She survived the Dragonfall, just as I've always said. I knew it, and I was right. The screen explodes into static, and the electronic whine in the background sharpens into a needle-like pulse of high-pitched sound. Somewhere in the background, Dante lets out a low whimper. The screen clears and the excited face is closer to the screen than it was before. The words spill out of him in a breathless type. Taking a team into the socks to retrieve her. The radiation be damned. We will take appropriate precautions, of course, but we must go. Hermie, I think that the body may be nearby as well. Somehow she has survived for all of this time. The screen explodes into static again, then clears. A figure flickers across the screen. May not be back for some time. Look after Mom, okay? I worry about her. And Hermie, stay safe out there. I know that things are heating up in Berlin, and I know you. Student protests, civil uprising, and you'll be in the middle of it, I'm sure. Just stay safe, alright? And I'll do my best to do the same. I don't know what's going to happen when I step into the SOX, or SOX, but I do know one thing. If the Feuerschwing is still a danger, I will put an end to her. Once and for all. The display goes black and the background whine fades away. A moment later, you find yourself deposited back at the menu screen. Track 2. Let's see. Screen goes black for a moment, then a figure appears on screen. Your late client, Green Winters. His elbow is planted on the table that he's seated at, and his chin rests on his palm. The other hand is wrapped around a bottle of cheap whiskey. The timestamp on the video reads 2053-1225. Christmas Day. Found the message Adrian left me all those years ago. Got it cleaned up as best I could. Strange hearing his voice again. He pauses to take a long pull on the bottle. It's good to hear him, even if he did insist on calling me Hermie. Dr. Adrian Vauclair, the hero of the people, the Dragon Slayer. My brother. He grimaces and rubs his eyes. Hard to believe it's been almost 20 years. Alright, so I'm going to start recording these DVDs again. For me, for Adrian, for whoever might wind up watching them. Every time I do this, it winds up feeling like a waste of time, but I keep doing it anyway, on the off chance that I'll find something important. If I stumble into the clue that leads me to my brother, I know that I'm going to want it on film. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, after all. No sense in quitting now. Christ, 20 years. All this time and still no leads, even with all my contacts and my resources. It takes another long swallow of cheap liquor. Even with my legendary bullheadedness, I've made no progress at all. I haven't turned up a single goddamn thing. Want to hear something funny? Closest I've gotten to was a clue. A rumor. Gotten to a clue was a rumor. Apparently a team emerged from the Sox a while back. Nobody's clear on the date, but, and get this, he leans into the camera and gives a conspiratorial wink. Supposedly they vanished without a trace. He upends the bottle, drains it, slams it back down to the table. His eyes are red and are rimmed with red. Not much of a rumor considering. I already know that you're gone, big brother. I live with that every day. Play track 3. There's a grinding sound from the DVD tray, and Green Winter's image appears on the screen. There's an eager look on his face. Timestamp on the video reads 2054, 10:12. Stumbled upon this archival footage of Feuerschwing's original attack, months before the Dragonfall. Easy to forget how devastating it was. Adrian saved a lot of people by bringing her down. I've got the footage all queued up to play, starting it now. Additional comments to follow. Slow whir of the DVD player shifts to a high-pitched whine. A disoriented, wavering image blooms into the being on the screen. Timestamp in the upper right corner of the screen marks the date. July 6, 2012. It's difficult to make out what you're seeing at first. The screen is dark and smoky, and the telltale flashes of emergency vehicle lights flicker on the periphery of the screen. The camera pushes in, and you can make out two figures standing in a ruined landscape. All at once, the sound cuts in. Again, for those of you just joining us, we are coming to you live from Stolberg. A few hours ago, the dragon, Feuerschwing, launched an unprovoked attack on this Sleepy Hearts mountain town. And you can see the results behind me. Fire, ashes, and blood. We are joined tonight by a survivor of this latest and most horrifying attack. The reporter turns to face a pale man standing behind him. Sir, I understand that you've been through a terrible ordeal. Thanks for taking the time to speak with us tonight. The camera switches focus to a middle-aged man with a haunted look in his eyes. He stammers out a reply. Yes, of course. If you could, sir, could you please tell the people at home about your experience of the attack? It was horrible. Just pure chaos. So many people are dead. People I knew, roasted alive or trampled to death trying to escape. My own house was burned to the ground during the attack. My family. We have nothing now. You all made it through the attack? Your wife? Your kids? Yeah, we all made it, thank God. We rode out the attack in a small shelter, me, my wife, and our 2 daughters. The shelter. It protected us, but the heat was just unbearable. We couldn't have stayed in there much longer than we did. How long were you holed up in there? 3, maybe 4 hours? I don't know. We just stayed inside until the heat died down and the screaming stopped. And what happened after that? When it was over, when the air cooled down, the reporter nods and the man continues. We stepped outside. There was nothing left. Just smoldering wreckage and this dense cloud of black, oily smoke. And the stench in the air. God, that smell. It smelled like roasting meat. There's a long pause. From the tortured look on his face, you can tell the man is struggling to decide whether or not to continue speaking. Eventually, he does. My girls. They found what was left of their nanny, outside. Her body, what was left of it, was slumped against the shelter door. I keep telling myself that I couldn't hear her pounding to get in, but That isn't true. I could. I just couldn't bring myself to open that door. I couldn't risk my family like that. Not for her. Not for anyone. Thank you, sir, for taking the time to speak with us. Yeah. You heard it here. An absolutely chilling account of tonight's attack. Again, the town of Stolberg has been reduced to ash. Another victim of the Firewing. Stay with us for more up-to-the-minute reporting on Feuerschwing's reign of terror. Greenwinter's face reappears on the screen. Okay, it's time for a new approach. Adrian's a complete dead end. That much is pretty clear by now. So I'm going to do some digging on Feuerschwing instead. Let's see where this goes. Play track 4. Let's see. Greenwinter's image appears on the screen. The timestamp on the video reads 2054-1031. Halloween. Well, that was a bust. Little progress on Feuerschwing either. He shakes his head. I don't know. It's weird. The information is there, it's just wrong somehow. It's too well laid out, too simple. Real life is messy, and this just feels a little too neat. It's not the only thing that's nagging at me. I'm getting this tingly feeling all up and down the back of my neck again. It feels like I'm being tracked. I'm no Matrix hotshot like Clockwork or Schaefer, but I'm good enough to know when someone's on my scent. Gotta install some new security measures. Can't be too careful. Track 5. Display goes blank. 10:54. He's seated at the computer off to his left, an enormous monitor fills the screen. His voice carries an edge of panic. The timestamp on the video reads 10:54, 11:09. Christ, I'm getting too close to something. There's a trail of bodies and there have been disappearances. Gearbox, Marcian, Peregrine, they've all disappeared within the past few years. Gearbox just went AWOL yesterday. They were all making the same sorts of inquiries about the Firewing that I've been. There are ghost stories spreading around the Decker community. Stories about Deckers disappearing and then showing up again later, but wrong somehow. Scary stuff. I'm starting to think that it's true. Blitz leads them to whisper to you. I know the stories he's talking about, Chief. Never really put much stock in them. Not until now. Could these rumors be related to what's happening here? Am I being paranoid? He pauses for a moment as if seriously considering the question. Then he shakes his head and slams his fist on the table. No, I don't think so. Something big is happening here, and I'm right in the middle of it. Agar cuts in. That's a bit of a leap. One other thing. Tolstoy told me a story about a kill team that might be related to all this. Apparently a Decker named Hellebore posted a theory about Feuerschwing to the Shadowrun BBS about 5 years ago. About an hour later, a mil-spec team showed up in Meat Space and cooked her entire apartment, with her in it. What Tolstoy told me is true. Hellebore live posted the event. She described her killer, this great big orc with skin grass. Then the whole thread disappeared, gone without a trace. Leap, Iga love? Sounds like he's on the right track to me. Iger holds a silence but concedes the point with a small nod. On the screen, Winters pauses. He looks like he's working up to something. Finally, he speaks. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. This has gotta be Feuerschwing. All of it. Adrian was right about her. She's still alive and she's out of the socks. She's covering her tracks, working the shadows, preparing to rise again. And that means that I have to find you, Adrian. For everyone's sake. Thankfully, I've got a lead. For the first time in 2 decades, I've got a solid goddamn lead. I backtraced all the Matrix nodes that Hellebore was looking into, back before she got cooked. Whoever's been purging the Matrix didn't think about that. And I've found that she's turned up. Winter stabs a few keys on his keyboard and an image expands to fill the screen of his monitor. A satellite photo of the rural landscape noted with GPS data. A set of map coordinates. So, now I've got a target. A place to start digging. The Harfeld Manor. Conveniently located on an isolated stretch of countryside, miles away from prying eyes. Matrix records indicate that some sort of data vault exists beneath the estate. So that's what I need to get into. And this is where we came in. As if on cue, a familiar image winks onto the monitor to Winter's left, Monica. I think I'm going to tap Schaefer for this job. She's got the skills to bypass whatever security they're running out there, and she's gullible enough to take the job in the first place. I'll fit her some line about flux state security, and she'll eat it up with a spoon. I warned her. Amsel's voice is choked with rage. I warned her. On display, Winter's mouth parts into a broad grin. Time to put plans into motion. By this time tomorrow night, I should have the information that I need. And on the off chance that Schaefer gets taken out, well, that'll tell me something too. Can't make an omelet and all that. Until then. Bastard. 6th track. You're looking at the tattered drapes of a nicotine-stained wallpaper of Winter's hotel room at Das Kesselhaus. Timestamp 10:54:11:10. There's a blur of motion, and the haggard form of Green Winters lumbers into frame. Suspicions confirmed. Schaefer's dead. Christ. Winters reaches a shaking hand off camera. A moment later, it returns clutching a cheap plastic drinking glass. He gulps something down, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, and takes a deep breath. Okay. Back up. Slow down. Start from the beginning. Winters closes his eyes and makes a visible effort to calm himself. When he speaks again, his voice is steady. Got a call from my contact in the Kreuzbazaar. Schaefer killed on the estate run. Matrix security at the estate cooked their brain. Considering Schaefer's skill and experience, on-site ice must have been extreme, even by Berlin standards. Security of that kind costs money. Real money. Given the evidence uncovered so far, corporate involvement is unlikely, but the connection to Firewing is too strong. So, let's come out right out and say it. Dragon is what we're dealing with here, and the smart money says that she's coming for me next. Well, I won't go down without a fight. I've still got my contacts, still got my connections, and the Flex State can be a hell of a weapon for a man who knows how to manipulate it. Winters takes another long pull from his glass, grimaces, and swallows. Time for me to make my play. Ghost stories or no, missing Deckers or no, I've got to jack into the Matrix and start pulling strings. The countermeasures that I installed earlier should be more than enough to keep me safe for the 20 minutes I'll be in there. Winters drains the rest of the glass, then tosses it back over his shoulder. A moment, you'll hear the dull clatter of hard plastic on linoleum. Schaefer's death was tragic, but she was a staunch supporter of the estate. But still, all things considered. Winter fishes for something off screen. A moment later, his hand reappears clutching a data jack cable. Better her than me. He plugs the cable into his head and the screen cuts to static. Bastard. As your finger nears the eject button, the black screen cuts in over the static. A moment later, Green Winter's haggard face appears. If you're watching this, then I guess they caught up to me. They will be after you too now. Blitz whispers into your ear again, more harshly this time. What the hell is this? Why didn't you warn me about this before I came here? Not now, Blitz. Whoever you are, whatever you think you're after, you need to find Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Not because he's my brother. Because if Feuerschwing is rising again, he's the only one who can stop her. You've seen what happens to people who get too close to this. I'm dead, and dozens of others have died. You'll be next. Unless you can find Adrian. Screen cuts back to static. The message is over. The DVD tray slides out of the reader. Well. Shift. The room goes quiet as everyone struggles to process what you've just seen on the DVD. Finally, Dietrich breaks the silence. A dragon. Son of a bitch. Green Winters sent us up against a dragon. The Firewing. Hemsel's voice is thick with dread. She lives. I'm really starting to regret the fact that I didn't just stay at the hotel. Iger ignores him. Wait a second, we don't know for certain. Dietrich lays a hand on Iger's shoulder. The evidence seemed pretty convincing to me, love. I'd even take it a step further. I think that secret facility that we stumbled into was her lair. Room falls silent. Iger and Glory exchange glances. After a moment, Dietrich continues. Just think about it. The Decker that Winters got those coordinates from was posting about Feuerschwing. Then she was killed by the same orcish bastard that attacked us after Monica died. That's a direct link between the dragon, the scarred orc, and the Harfeld Manor. And then Winters was killed by the same thing that killed Monica. Exactly. My gut tells me that the dragon is down there, Talia. Someplace far beneath the surface. I think that we've knocked on the door to her lair without even knowing it, and that given what we've seen, the dragon will do whatever it takes to keep us quiet about it. Okay, going on the assumption that there is a dragon and that she will come after us, what do you propose we do about it? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to follow Winter's advice. We're going to find Vauclair. Yes, Talia is right. Finding Dr. Vauclair should be our priority. If we're going up against a dragon, we need to find ourselves a dragon slayer. Winter spent 20 years searching for Vauclair, and it got him nowhere. How do you propose that we find him? With the help of an information broker. Do you have any suggestions? For a task of this magnitude, we need to make contact with the premier information broker in Berlin. We need to talk to Alice. Who is this Alice? A most prominent figure in Berlin's shadow community. Ex-Schockenwellenreiter. She provides information retrieval services for the F-State. Amsel turns to the computer console behind him and runs his fingers over a virtual keyboard. The machine begins to hum. If Winters was right, if Vauclair is still alive, she can help us find him. The console spits out a stick of black plastic. Amsel plucks it from the computer and hands it to you. Here, your key to speak with Alice. A cred stick? Amsel nods. An encoded cred stick, yes. 10,000 Nuyen. Alice will not show her face for less. This represents the last of my personal savings, Talia. Make this meeting count. Where do I need to go? Take the U-Bahn to the Altstadt Spandau. There you will find a connecting tube that the locals refer to as the rabbit hole. You will find a method of contacting Alice there. Don't call it that in front of her, though. Word on the street is that she hates it. Please hurry. While you're out, I will work on acquiring new contacts for the team. Alice is the best there is at what she does, and her services carry a price tag to match. Alright then. Nothing else to it. Let's go talk to Alice. Still got enough time to take care of that. Good 8 minutes. And there's nothing new to talk to anyone about until we get back. No loading screen? Fine. The rabbit hole. Oop. Hold up. Let's step away and see what we can pick up here. See, hyper. Yeah, that's the same thing we got that auto-injector thing for. Okay. The only active console in this derelict span of U-Bahn platform is an old video arcade machine. CRT monitor set into the machine's cabinet glows invitingly. Cheerful, pixelated graphics swirl and dance on the screen. Let's investigate. At the base of the controller panel, you find a cleverly hidden input port. The port is shrouded in black plastic and appears to be the approximate shape of a typical cred stick. Let's give them a down payment. Internal motors grip the cred stick and pull it into the machine. It disappears into the port, and the screen goes black. Moments later, a video image fills the screen. The picture is dark and grainy, a far cry from the bright, colorful sprites that previously inhabited the display. On the screen is a dimly lit office. The place looks like it was pulled straight from an old detective movie. From the Venetian blinds on the windows to the great swaths of shadow that paint the walls black. Center stage, sitting behind a large mahogany desk, is the silhouette of an impressive-looking woman in a charcoal gray suit. The tip of a cigarette glows cherry red in the shadows. She leans forward into the light, and you catch your first glimpse of Alice. Her face is all hard planes and sculpted angles. With high cheekbones and almond eyes, her lips are painted a frigid blue, but the look in her eyes is even colder. A head of lustrous black hair is interspersed with flowing streams of cyan light. Alice exhales a plume of smoke, then tips her cigarette into a nearby ashtray. She fixes her eyes on you, and her lips curl into a humorless smile. We're on your dime, friend. Tell me what I'm looking for. I need you to find someone for me. Dr. Adrian Vauclair. The Dragon Slayer. Interesting. He's been missing for a long time. Yes, he has. The question is, can you find him? She looks you in the eye, and the smile disappears. Her voice is all business. If he's out there somewhere, I'll find him for you. He could be living under an assumed name in the California Free State, and I'd still track him down. And if he's not alive, I'll tell you where you can find his corpse. If you have a decking skill of 4, you can try to determine her identity. But we don't have that because we're not a decker. Alright, I'm satisfied. Let's talk about the job. Alice steeples her fingers. Alright, here's how this is going to work. When you give me the go-ahead, I'm going to start gathering information for you. Once I've finished, you're going to bring me a cred stick encoded with the encryption key that I'll provide you. That cred stick will have 50,000 new yen on it. When I get my cred stick, you get your information. This is the deal. Take it or leave it. Don't have much of a choice. Alright, you've got a deal. Okay, but remember, you say go and I go. From that point on, you're on the hook to pay me my fee. No turning back, no refunds. Are we square on this? I don't see what choice I have. I need that information. Good. I'll be in touch. Screen goes black. Moments later, the machine reboots. The colorful sprites you saw when you first approached the arcade cabinet return. There's nothing more to see here. Alice is gone. Nothing to it but to head back and start doing our job. Alright, let's see. We should be able to start talking to people. So you talk about your organization? No? Okay. My guess is that first we gotta talk to Paul about the whole affair. Then we can start talking to people. We'll probably end it off with talking to Paul, depending on how long that conversation takes. Talia, did you make contact with Alice? Yes, I did. She accepted your payment, and I ordered the search for the information we need. Very good. I can't imagine that this will be cheap. What was Alice's stated price? You're right on that count. 50,000 new yen. He shrugs. It is about as I had expected. Thankfully, we are prepared for this. I have established contact with a number of new clients. You can find information on the jobs logged on your mission computer. One jobs file is already there. While you're working to earn Alice's fee, I will continue to dig for clues about Feuerschwing. If she is in fact roosting under Harfeld Manor, then there must be some evidence to support that fact. The dragon is a large thing to hide after all. Be careful, Paul. Remember what happened to Monica. I will never forget. Don't worry, Talia. I'm going to conduct my investigation the old-fashioned way, through contacts and deduction and careful observation. I will not jack into the Matrix until this entire sorry episode is finished. That's probably wise. Speaking of doing things the old-fashioned way, Malit is working on recovering information off those other DVDs. It's a painstaking process, and it will not be quick. She is optimistic that she will be successful in time. Finally, I've been checking up on our friend the Orc with the skin grafts. I haven't heard anything back yet, but I'll keep you appraised as the situation develops. Sounds good, Paul. I'll go check up on those jobs. One last thing before you go, Talia. Samuel Beckenbauer wanted me to pass a message to you. Do you know him, the orc who runs the shelter across the way? Yeah, we've met. Ah, well, he has a job for you. He wouldn't discuss it with me, but he promised that it would prove worth your time. I'll keep that in mind. Alright. I'm not going to talk to him because we're running pretty short on time, but I will check out the computer. Alright, let's check the inbox. Commissioning your services. Withheld. To Talia. We would like to arrange a meeting between you and one of our representatives. You will find him at the cafe nearby. His name is Luca Duer. He will be expecting you. Come alone. Okay. Jobs directory. Pending and active jobs. Pharma cleanup job. Amsel's face wakes onto the screen. Here you will find the complete transcript of my conversation with Herr Fuchs. Not going to say what it actually sounds like. A potential client. The job seems to be relatively straightforward and the payout is reasonable. One word of caution before you proceed. There are aspects of this run that you might find morally troubling. Be sure to read and understand the specifics of this job before accepting. If you do accept, you will be expected to carry out the requirements of the job in full. After reading the transcript, you may choose whether or not to accept the job. If you respond in the affirmative, our client will be notified and I will make necessary preparations for the run. Herr Amsel? Yes, I am here. To whom am I speaking? You may call me Herr Fuchs. Very well. Please describe the work that you would like to have done. Straight to the point. I like that. Very well. I would like to retain your team's services to clean up a mess. Go on. My employers dispatched a team of operatives to conduct a quiet operation at the local Shadowrun Pharma AG lab. Unfortunately, they botched the job. The team was eliminated, but we have a reliable information that one of the operatives has been taken captive. If this rogue agent were to spill information leading back to my employers, it could lead to a corporate war. A great many lives could be lost. My employers would like nothing more than to prevent such a tragic turn of events. Ah, I see, and you wish to retain my team's services to tie up loose ends. Exactly. The captive operative is a rigger by the name of Thorvald Enstad. We need him neutralized before he can inform on us to his captors. As Enstad and his team have already put the facility on high alert, stealth will not be an option. Your team will need to shoot its way in, eliminate Enstad, and exit the facility. A straightforward enough task, and well within my team's capabilities. What are you offering in terms of pay? 15,000. This offer is non-negotiable. Very well, I will pass the offer on to my team. Very good. Good day, Herr Amsel. Yeah, accept the job. Ah, jeez. I've had this sneeze building up. Uh-oh. Never mind, I was about to say that I have had this sneeze building up and just not going off, but no, it went off. Okay. Let's see, Humanist Data Steal. Samuel Beckenbauer has approached me with an offer of work. Apparently an associate of his has learned of some disturbing details regarding the Berlin chapter of the Humanist Polit Club. Basically human supremacists. Bad people. He would like to contract your team to investigate these rumors. Beckenbauer was unwilling to discuss the specifics of the job in your absence. He has requested that you speak to him in person, whoops, at your earliest convenience. Alright, well, we've got jobs to do, things to take care of, people to talk to, but we are out of time for taking care of that on this episode. So I'm going to have to end it off here for today. If you guys like what you see, please leave a like, subscribe for future content. Oh, sorry, my voice is getting shot. Ugh, good thing I'm splitting up my recording schedules. Anyways, if you like what you see, please leave a like, subscribe for future content. Don't forget to hit that bell icon to get notifications when I upload, or to hit the straw poll link to vote for our next Let's Play. And please, leave a comment down below this video. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks for watching.